Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called 2 years living in Sweden, my experience. So I'm gonna guess he's an American that moved to Sweden and has probably like experienced some culture shock because I think, you know, those are very different countries. I don't know like if we're gonna get like several clips or just like him telling like his story of like, yes, you know, I moved here and what's life like there. I think like, you know, I don't know, like come from an American like perspective, like what are the key like points that you would think, wow, this has probably been like the hardest part of me to like adjust to this. I think, I don't know, probably just like the culture in general, I would say, like probably because again, it's just like very different cultures. I think Americans are very like, or at least they tend to be, not that everyone's like this, but I think most people are very like extroverted and sort of like, wow, they're really in your face. And I think Swedish people like by nature are probably a little bit more reserved, so I would think like that's a pretty huge thing. But I don't know, we're gonna hear from his own words, so let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
So this here's me. My name is Travis. I'm a Canadian who's been living in Sweden for the past 2 years now.
Okay, he's Canadian, so I was totally off about this.
No, I moved to Sweden back in 2020 to play hockey, and in the last 2 years that I've been here...
And I'm guessing he's a professional hockey player, which, not to get like cliche, but oh, a Canadian that plays professional hockey. What a surprise.
I've absolutely had my eyes open to Swedish culture, how Swedes live their lives, their values, and I'll be honest, at first, I was really scared, and I kind of hated it.
Just miss home. Simply put.
But fast forward 2 years.
Over the last 8 months, Sweden has really truly become my home.
I can honestly say that this is my happy place and a place that I really don't want to leave. In this video, I want to share with you my experience on Swedish culture, the cost of living, the food scene, the coffee scene, lifestyle, history, and so much more.
I love that the coffee scene is an actual like section of this video, which, you know, great, love this, but it's funny that like, I don't think a lot of places have like the coffee scene, which, you know, but sign me up. Yes, when do I move there?
Let's get started. I honestly thought Sweden was going to be another version of Canada or the United States with a few more meatballs and that Swedish chef guy hanging around.
He's a woody bag.
And believe me, it was anything but. I was going from huge houses, huge meals, excessive amounts of everything in Canada to be quite honest, a minimalistic place. For starters, homes, apartments, and everything in between are always smaller because Europe's been around for thousands of years and they make the most of the real estate.
They don't have the space.
Also, the people in North America, everybody small talks each other and asks, how's it going? Good and yourself? Well, that doesn't happen in Sweden. Watch this.
How'd you do that?
Thank you. It's fine. And you?
I'm very good.
You're so nice.
From Canada.
Oh, really?
Canadians, I think, have a reputation for being like extremely nice people, and they're very like polite, and they're just like really nice in general. So it's not a surprise. I think it's funny because people from other places are constantly saying like, oh, Americans are like so nice, and because they're very, I think, open maybe, and they're very like, they want to talk to you, and they're very extroverted. But I think in Canada, it's particular. I don't know if it's just like a Canadian thing, like in America, like from an American perspective, like Canada has a reputation for all the people are like so incredibly polite and they're so incredibly like nice, and they're just like very like, they'll open your door, for instance, like they'll open this like the thing about like someone's like they're in a building and they're opening the door and like everyone like takes advantage of it and everyone just passes through and it's just like, can you please like, I have to close the door, bye, and then they don't really say anything. So it's a little bit of like, oh, you know, they're very like polite and just like nice in general. So it's funny that I don't know if that like if other sort of like countries get this. So do you guys know that Canada has a reputation for having like extremely nice people?
So that I learned very quickly that Swedish people like to be left alone. Now, what about the language barrier? Swedish is the official language of Sweden, but Sweden is the third most English fluent country on earth, where English is not the first language. Now, granted, the Netherlands and Denmark beat them out, but only by 2%.
Really?
And I've had almost no language barrier since day one when I got here. Either people know English or they'll find you somebody who does. Maybe you can't read a sign, you can't read an advertisement, just download the Google Translate.
Picture of, is that the selection of McDonald's in Sweden? Because it's incredibly funny. Like they also tell you like they tell you the menu in English, which I think funny. Well, but it makes sense actually, because I'm probably guessing they get a lot of tourists, and even though not every single tourist is going from the United States or Canada, or English speaking places, it makes sense because English is sort of like the neutral language that most people have. Like you can come, someone that speaks, I don't know, Polish and someone that speaks Spanish, and like they're say, oh, I can't understand you. It's like, oh, but we both speak English, so it's like we can understand each other that way. So it's like English is like the neutral, the neutralizer, the equalizer. So I think it makes sense a little bit of like, yes, the menus are actually in English.
App. They have a camera feature where you can scan whatever you're looking at and it'll translate it right into English for you. That saved me a few times, but outside of that, I
But that's bad because if you're moving there, it's like I'm never gonna learn Swedish if everything's in English.
really haven't had any language barrier issues at all. Now let's talk about living. Sweden is home to about 10 million people. 2 million in Stockholm, the capital of Sweden, 500,000 in Gothenburg, and about 300,000 to a quarter million.
I think that's so small. Like, why did I thought that this was like bigger? The bigger cities, Stockholm only has almost like, don't even 2 million people. That's way too small. And that's like the bigger city. I don't know why I thought I was like, I don't know, people, well, maybe, I don't know. But I mean, like Gothenburg, like these people are like, oh, it's a big city. It only has like 500,000 people. That's so small.
In Malmo, the 3 biggest cities in Sweden respectively. The rest of the population is spread out throughout the country. Now, I spent 2 months playing for a team in the Stockholm area called Flemingsberg, or as the Swedes pronounce it, Flemingsberg. And that would be to Stockholm what Richmond is to Vancouver. It's just a suburb outside of Stockholm.
Okay.
After that, I spent the rest of my time living and playing in the Gothenburg area, specifically where I am right now, playing in Varberg, living in Holmstad, or as the Swedes call it, Varberg and Halmstad. More on that later.
One thing we hear a lot of Swedish people complain about is the price of living. If you're coming from Canada, let's say like in Vancouver, you live in Los Angeles, New York City, you're used to expensive places.
Yeah.
I come from Winnipeg, where, to be honest, in Canada, it's pretty dirt cheap to live compared to Sweden. Let's talk about that, especially the gas prices. I know all gas prices have gone up, but Swedish gas prices are something else.
I found everything to be more expensive in Sweden. One Canadian dollar today is worth about 6 to 7 Swedish crowns, depending on the day.
But I think Canadian dollars, I think, are like, it has less value than the US dollar. I think Canada is just less expensive in general. Although I do know that places like Toronto and Vancouver, like, they're very expensive places. I would say, like, in general, I think it's less expensive than, say, like, New York. I think. I don't know. I think.
And no, the Swedes do not use euros. Don't make that mistake, because I did when I first came here. So right here, these pastries are about $1 a piece on sale. Probably a little bit more expensive than what you would see in a commercial grocery store in Canada. These chicken breasts, 117 crowns. They were 130 crowns, so basically about $20 for, let's say, 5 breasts. In Canada, I feel like you
right?
could probably get about the same for a little bit more than half the price. Here you
Yeah.
have 10 large eggs, about $5. Pretty expensive if you ask me, but that's a pretty typical Swedish
It
price.
is, actually.
I spend consistently around
Hold on. Yes, I think that's actually pretty expensive for eggs.
$400 to $500 every single month on groceries since I moved here in 2020. I wish I had some insight into rent prices, but all 3 places that I've lived since I've came here were all found for me by my hockey team, and I basically just showed up, paid the bill, and my rent is dirt cheap. It's only like $400, $500 a month at the absolute most that I've actually had to pay.
Really?
Dirt cheap if you ask me, but that's also a rare situation. Based on what I've heard, Swedish rent can be about $1,500 to $2,000 a month Canadian for an average 1-bedroom apartment. What about
How much
gas?
is that in dollars? He has a car. I'm surprised by the
Gas
fact.
is 21.
I'm so shocked by the fact that he has a car, because it's like, don't you need? I mean, obviously he wants to have a car, but you don't need a car, right? If that's what I'm led to believe. So it's like a little bit weird to me to actually see him like using a car. Don't you walk?
1.5 crowns.
That's about $3.25 for a liter.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Because here's the deal.
Thanks, Joe. In August, gas was around 19 to 20 crowns a liter. Fast forward to right now in April of 2022, I saw gas just the other day hovering between 25 and 27 crowns
Going
a
up.
liter. I'll leave that one to the Swedes in the comment section, because if you want to piss off a Swede, ask them how they feel about their taxes. Well, the truth is, you don't really need a car in most of Europe, in Sweden specifically.
Yeah.
So this year's Gothenburg Central Station, and one of the best things about Sweden is so many buses and options for travel here. It's insane.
The train systems, everything's convenient. There's always a train, usually within about 15 to 20 minutes of you. It comes every half hour, worst case every hour. Very convenient, very cheap, very affordable.
So this train moving here behind me, this is called the SJ X2000. It's the flagship train for SJ, and it does I don't know how many routes between Stockholm and Gothenburg every single day. The primary 2 main cities in Sweden. Trembler. Let me explain a little bit more.
In Sweden, you have a few types of transportation. You have the heavy-duty trains run by SJ, the main carrier in Sweden, and they run all the major routes from Gothenburg to Malmo, Stockholm, all the way up north into Norway. Then Then you have the smaller carriers like Molotov or SL. The SL is what I took to practice every single day when I was in Stockholm, and the Öresundståg is what I took to practice this year in Varberg. SL will run you about $100 a month for a train pass, and they run trains every 15 to 30 minutes throughout the day, everywhere in Stockholm. The Öresund
I think it's okay. I don't think it's like that cheap, but I don't think it's that expensive either. I really do think it's in the upper echelon maybe of prices, but again, I think it's worth it. Like that's price of like, I mean, it's okay, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It just depends on your salary.
Stag is going to run you about $200 a month, and they run trains every 30 to 60 minutes, sometimes every 2 hours, depending on the day, from Gothenburg all the way into Denmark. Obviously, you have smaller commuter trains like
It's gonna say like 2 hours, like that's so long. But it's like no, they're going to Denmark, not in inner Sweden. Okay, it's fine.
these, but you also have regular buses, the buses that you'd see anywhere else in the world. Now, finally, you have the infamous streetcar. Now,
What's it
I believe
infamous?
there are a few places in Canada that still do the streetcar, but they are everywhere in Sweden, and you can get them included in your monthly pass if you desired. So, for me, I got an all-you-can-eat pass from Gothenburg to Holmstad. Any train, any tram, any bus I wanted, unlimited for a month. And considering that's about the same cost as 2 weeks of gas, let alone the insurance, parking, cost of a car, etc.,
Yes,
that's
it's
a
worth
steal
it.
of a deal. The country of Sweden was literally built for being mobile without needing a car.
One thing I was super worried about when I first came here was, are they going to do everything in miles or kilometers? Everything is kilometers. We're all good. Also, if Swedes drove on the right side of the car, it's not like the UK. On the right side, Swedes drive on the left.
Now, what's
Yeah.
the weather like? Well, up north, it can get absolutely freezing cold, minus 30 by September, just like in Canada. I would compare Stockholm to Toronto weather-wise. It's not super cold, but it's also not super warm. The Gothenburg area where I live is probably something like Vancouver. Here's why.
Because we're right on the ocean, at least here on this side of Sweden, on the west coast, we're right by the water. So you get kind of the Vancouver, the Los Angeles effect, where you really never get snow. There's going to be a few times a year where you might get some snow. It's the middle of March, almost the beginning of April here, and I've been in shorts for, it feels like almost a month. Plus
pretty.
15, it was like plus 19 the other day, plus 18.
Oh,
Now, that may sound great. However, in the
Celsius?
winter, you're going to be seeing a lot of gray, but you're also going to be seeing a lot of
This
this.
is the worst thing about living in Sweden is the fact that like it rains and it rains and it rains. Like in the wintertime, I'm not kidding you, it will rain for like 2 weeks straight. It'll just keep raining, it'll keep going.
I
and
hate
there's no
that.
sunshine for like a month. It's insane.
Usually, though, I would say Sweden is a lot like the Canadian prairie. You could watch your dog run away for 10 kilometers and never lose track of him. It's a lot of fields, plains,
Hopefully not.
farms, but with a couple of hills mixed in here and there. Fun facty, by the way, the word berg is a Swedish word that means mountain. Now, I was told that
oh, that explains so much. I wouldn't have occurred to me because I know that a lot of places end in berg, like Oldenburg. That's a place in Sweden, right, or something of the sort. But I do think it's like I don't know. This rings a bell of like I'm seeing a lot of berg. It means mountain. I think Sweden is actually like quite a flat place from what I can see. I think only like up in north, like they have like a lot of mountains, but I don't think they have that many. Just like a very flat place in general, which it's interesting.
this right here is the mountain that Gothenburg was named after, or
Wow, but it's tiny. It's that the mountain? I would say like that's like a hill. I wouldn't call that a mountain.
Göteborg, as the Swedes would call it. You'll notice a lot of bergs. Varberg,
Exactly.
Flemingsberg,
Okay,
Falkenberg.
I was
There are
not
a lot
wrong.
of bergs here. Speaking of history, Sweden is probably older than Christ. And I'm not kidding you, the Vikings lived here. And although you will not see many Vikings
Like
kicking around
before
today,
Christ.
you will see some seriously cool ancient architecture. Gothenburg Central Station, for example, here is the oldest train station still in use in Sweden. It opened in 1858, almost 150 years before
Oh my
I was even
God.
conceived. And it's the same station that millions of people departed from to head down to the water before heading over to the New World in North America
I love
for
that.
a new life. And I gotta be honest, this is one of the reasons why I love taking the train. There's just so much history. It's an absolute time machine, and it takes me back in history from the first time
is
you
very
arrive to the last time you walk out. Everything is so old in Sweden. It's really beautiful, it's really pretty, and it's awesome. Except for this brand new tower, or towers, I should say. Let me tell you a little bit about it.
There's a building in Gothenburg called Gothia Towers. It's like the tallest building in Gothenburg, and you get some of the best views of the entire city. You can see it behind me. I'm not looking behind me because I'm terrified of heights, but I know that. Oh my god.
Why is he climbing up to this if he's scared of heights? That's not a good place to be. It's sort of like the Needle or 30 Rock.
Oh, they got a pool. That's the pool. I know they have like 2 in Vancouver, but it's still cool.
So you can literally see all of Gothenburg from these 3 Gothia towers, from the Ferris wheel and the amusement park to the Scandinavium, the official home in the SHL for the Frölunda Indians, and also this soccer stadium, which I only discovered there is a professional soccer team in Gothenburg about a week ago, which is kind of cool. But it goes without saying, Swedes love their sports. They also love their metal. Hair metal may have died in North America in 1991 when Kurt Cobain came along. But believe me, hair metal is alive and
metal?
it is well over here. It has not died. Now let's talk a little bit more about food. The Swedes love black licorice. If you don't like black licorice, that is okay. I love black
Good.
licorice, so I'm totally okay with it. But the Swedes like it's salted. But another thing that the Swedes
I hate
love
that.
is called fika. Swedes take their coffee very seriously over here.
Love
Now,
it.
this right here is the textbook definition of what
It's coffee. It's often just a coffee and cup and a cake break. Yeah, coffee and cake. She's kind of correct, but yeah, it's a state of mind and attitude. It can be okay. Can be experienced. Cannot be experienced at your desk. But yeah, okay. It's okay. It's not as in like I'm taking a break, but like I'm having my coffee in my desk. No, I think from what I might understand it, it's like no, you have to go outside. You have to like take a leave of your workstation and take a break. I think it could be defined as taking a break maybe, but taking a break outside of like, you know, you have to clear your mind, and in order to do that, you have to like get out of like your environment that you're in. At least that's how I understand it.
fika truly is. But this is going to sound really cheesy. It's more of an excuse to get out of the house and honestly get Swedish people to talk to me. If you don't have a coffee to offer, no Swedish person in the right mind will actually want to talk to you.
So on the topic of coffee, obviously you have to have some food, some pastries to go with coffee. Sugar is like super expensive to buy, to import. They don't use it as much as in North America where everything is just like sugar on top of sugar on top of sugar.
Okay, but what's up with the sweets? They have a lot of sweets. How are they sweetening their desserts? Honey?
Let me present to you the semla pancake.
That looks
Semla
incredible.
pancake.
It's this in pancake format. American
God.
pancakes looks like too.
The best. Gothenburg's finest. I've tried them all.
Now semla here, or as the Swedes call it, semla, is a spring pastry that is basically a Swedish long john minus the chocolate. It's dough infused with cardamom. By the way, the Swedes love their cardamom. Loaded high with whipped cream, almond paste, and finished with icing sugar. But it's not just the semla, it's the countless other pastries, including but not limited to the cardamom bulle, the cardamom bun.
Yeah, I was gonna like boule as in like a bun. That looks all of it looks so good. Like I want to try them all.
The vanilla bulle, the vanilla bun, or the kanel bulle, the absolute
Cinnamon
flagship
roll.
of flagship Swedish treats. It's basically a cinnamon bun, but so much better. Now, don't get me wrong, you have other weird Swedish foods, from hot dogs and mashed potatoes to kebab and french fries.
Why that hot dog looked like a red, sort of like those hot dogs they had like in like amusement parks? It doesn't look that weird to me.
On pizza.
Well, this here is shrimp salad. This is a Swedish staple. It is literally shrimp, mayonnaise, dill. But I like it. If you don't like shrimp, you will not like this.
And obviously,
Looks
the
good.
holy grail of Swedish foods, the Swedish meatball. Now, trust me, I love
That
these
looks good
things.
as well.
Now, I promise you, since I've came here, my middle name is Meatballs. Swedish meatballs, you may have a preconceived notion of what they really are. The lingonberry sauce, which is basically like cranberries, but a little bit more Swedish. The pickled cucumbers, basically just normal pickles. The meatballs, the brown sauce. The meatballs, by the way, are infused with cardamom. That's a big theme here. Swedes love cardamom. The brown sauce, the mashed potato puree.
They look so
It is
good.
incredible. And my personal favorite Swedish dish. Also, the French double. Circle K
What
is
is
a gas station that is everywhere in the world in North America. But in Sweden, it is not just a gas station and a convenience store, it is a delicacy. The double French. 2 wieners, 1 bun, whatever sauces you want. You can get 1 wiener and 1 bun, whatever you're into. But the crispy French bread toasted with these wieners, you want it.
I'm gonna need a second to process this. It's just a bun with 2 sausages, like a hot dog, but not the bread. It's not because hot dog, sort of like the hot dog buns are different from French bread. So it's just more like a baguette with 2 sausages. That looks good. Although that looks like what's kind of sausage are you putting into this? Like mustard and ketchup and something else? Maybe, I don't know, like other sauces. Looks good. It looks quite interesting, as in like the sausages like coming. Don't you have like a bigger bread, a bigger bun? Because it's like the sausages like on top.
Cheese and bacon smoky, you want chicken, you want vegan, you want, honestly, a hot dog that's probably going to shave off 5 years of your life expectancy. You can get that, and it is amazing. It is incredible. And keep in mind, it's like $10 for a hot dog. They are so worth it. They're the best hot dogs I've ever had in my life.
$10 for a hot dog? It's made out of gold? What?
Obviously, you got to come here and pay the bills some way. I came here to play hockey, and if you want to see my first-hand experience coming to play hockey in Sweden, you can check out my 2020-21 vlog playlist from my hockey season that year, or this year's 2021-2022 vlog playlist. I'll have a link down in the description.
I feel like coming from North America, you see pigeons in like movies and TV shows all the time in Europe. But then when you come here, you start realizing like they're everywhere. It's just something I found interesting.
This country has changed my life. It has provided me with so many great relationships. I've met so many amazing people. It has opened my eyes to what's really out there in the world. Coming from North America, you're kind of taught to be egotistical in the sense of we are the best. Both US and Canada, we are the best. The whole world revolves around us, and the truth is it doesn't. There's so many other things to see, especially in Europe. The culture, the food. I could go on for hours, and although I may be leaving to go back home to see my family in a couple days from recording this video,
Vacation.
I can't wait to come back again sometime soon.
I want to say thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the differences between Canada, Sweden, my experience. It's been 2 years, and I'm very proud to call Sweden home. It's honestly got my favorite place on the planet. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I will see you soon.
Okay, yeah, you can tell, like, there's, like, so many cool things. And I'm like, I want to go there. I don't know if I would move there, but I would love to visit. He went, obviously, he went because he was, like, you know, he's playing hockey, which I think, like, already there, they have, like, so many similarities between, like, Canada and Sweden. They both love hockey, so it doesn't surprise me that he's right at home, because it's like, yes, of course you would say that. You know, you're a hockey player, and they love their hockey, so of course. I think my favorite part of this video, like, gonna be, I like the Swedish food. I want to try the Swedish food. Like, everything looks so good. I want to know more about those weird things, because I think they have, like, their own pastries, and those are probably, like, my favorite ones. They look, like, so incredibly good. The cinnamon rolls, the vanilla buns, the other buns, like, they all looked incredibly good. And it's like, yes, I want to have, like, the fika, and I love the fika situation. And I was like, do they actually do that every day? I don't know if it's just, like, a couple of times a week, or it's just, like, no, you really, like, everyone takes a pause, like, in the mid-afternoon, and they do this. I would love to know if this actually, like, for real, like, do people actually, like, take their fika break in, like, every single day from Monday to Sunday, or it's just, like, from Monday to Friday, Saturdays and Sundays don't count because you're not working those days? I would love to know, because it's like, wow, that's so, you know, during fika, I'm wondering if, like, all the places are full, you know, like, because I can only guess, like, they do this at one specific, like, time period, like, it's like 4 p.m. or 5, or from 4 to 5. So it's just, like, a very time period. And do all the places, like, all the coffee places near your job, near your work, are sort of, like, full, and you have to, like, oh no, like, I have to go, and you know, like, we have to, like, rush hour, like, we have to go leave early, because it's like, otherwise it's gonna be so packed. Or it's not like that. Everyone takes it, like, can I take a fika break at, like, 10 a.m. if I feel like I need a break? I love the, like, I want to know more about, like, the actual, like the specifics of this. But I would love to experience a fika, because the food looks incredible. And not just, like, the fika, but also, like, the weird things, like the shrimp salad and the weird sort of, like, hot dog, 2 sausages, it's super expensive as well. But, you know, it's like, what does it have? I know there's sort of, like, weird things, because I think obviously they're known for, like, the meatballs and apparently, like, the buns. But there's, like, so many other things, like the shrimp salad. There's also, like, the Swedish torta. That's the sandwich, like, the weird sort of, like, cake that's like a sandwich. Those are, I think, the most famous ones, but I've never seen the others, and I think they're pretty famous as well. And there's gotta be, like, something weird, like, I've seen maybe not weird, intriguing. It's, like, more intriguing, and I want to know more about them. So those are probably, like, my favorite things. But also, I think this whole, like, Swedish architecture, like, he was showing us, it looks so beautiful. Like, all the, like, it was so very old timey, like he said. Like, it's incredible. Like, you can go to, like, the central station train station that's been there since, like, the 1850s, and it's like, that's incredible that it's still working properly. I think they really do take care of, like, things that are just old in general, and they are obviously are building, like, new things. Like, we have, like, the newer buildings, but I think the thing about, like, having old things is that they all have, like, their own charm. And I think those are, like, a little better. As long as you maintain them, like, I think it's better. And it brings out, like, again, because you can get, like, newer places everywhere, but older places that have, like, so much history, you can only get those, you know, because in places that have history. And so I think those are probably the better. I'm with him that he's like, you know, this is my favorite part, because it's like, yes, you know, we're walking something that has, like, so much history, and it's been here since, you know, since before your great grandparents. Like, this is incredible. Like, the pieces of, like, I don't know, the vibes are sort of, like, immaculate for me. Like, that's incredible. And that alone makes it, like, worthwhile to visit Sweden. Again, I don't know if you would live there. I think he moved there just because of, like, a job opportunity, and he moved there before having been there before, which I think, wow, you know, that's pretty brave. But I love that he was like, I can actually got to experience like, wow, there's a whole other world out there that I think people from North America rarely get to experience. So he's incredibly lucky. And actually he realized, yes, it's true. Like there's a whole world out there. We're not the center of the universe, and more people should definitely experience that, whether that's by moving to Sweden or by having like, I don't know, enlightening their minds. But that was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.